Alright, this is my staples for 2016. So these are cards that I'll be mainly using the next couple of years. Good cards, obviously. I got some of my old staples. Got my red screen, Wing Blast, MST, of course. I'm using Galaxy Cyclone as opposed to using the bait doll. I'm using Black Hornet Heaven, Needle Ceiling. That helps deal with pendulum decks and swarm decks. So that's important. Of course, Soul Charge, just a really good card. It's Monster Born on Crack. Then we got these two new additions. Eccentric Archfiend. It's Scale 7 Pendulum Monster. Its pendulum effect is that I can target one other spell trap card on the field, and this card both get destroyed. So this card gets destroyed, and the card I target gets destroyed. And there you go. You got rid of a spell trap. So essentially, it's a monster version of MST. So yeah, I like that. And then, of course, we have Falco's Cannon, scale 2. So you could combine 2 and 7. You have a scale from 3 to 6. So you can summon any monsters that are level 3 to 6. So that's very useful, for you to be able to pendulum summon yourself. This has the effect that during the end phase of this card was activated this turn, you can target one face-up spell trap on the field and destroy it. So that's pretty good. I hate that it's during the end phase, but still, at least it won't pop. It won't pop itself. It'll still be on the field for you to use whenever you want to use it. The idea is, of course, is that if you decide you don't want to run Galaxy Cyclone or MST or Twister or anything of that nature, like you don't want to run spells for the purpose of popping macro, you want to use monsters instead, then you have these as options. You can run all 4 of these, obviously, because these give you extra, gives you extra back row hate, but also they count as monsters, right? So obviously you can use them for the fact of monsters. So you got a level 3 here, you got a level 5 here, a 2200 attack, so it's useful. And then of course you can pendulum scale, so you use 2 of these and then summon copies of themselves onto the field, and synchros with them, exceed with them, do whatever you want, tribute them, all that good stuff. So try them out. Well, you already know red screen for defense, Wing Blast to deal with cards that can't be destroyed, or just to slow your opponent down by slowing down the types of cards he can draw. You could use it to disrupt some plays. Like if somebody plays Scout, they pay 800 for Scout's effect. Then you can Wing Blast Scout on top of the deck. So they pay 800 for nothing. Among other things, you can be creative with this card's effect. Like Hornet Heaven negates inherent special summons. Pendulum Summon is an inherent special summon, so this will be very useful against pendulum summoning. So instead of using like Fairy Wind or Spell Shadowing Arrow, just let your opponent pendulum summoning, because you can use this one card and just send all their pendulum monsters and monsters they try to summon to the graveyard, which is where you want them anyway, instead of them going into the extra deck so they can get pendulum summon later. So this can shut that down. This is also useful against Ritual Beasts because of the whole tag out thing. It'd be hard to use Wing Blast on the Ritual Beast fusions because they can just tag out, but this is useful against the fusions. Since the materials will go out of play, it'll make it harder for them to to reuse the materials to make the fusion, because the materials out of play, the fusion's in the grave now, so that disrupts them pretty badly. And this is good against JD, Judgment Dragon, BLS. Cyber Dragon, you know, anything of that nature. Synchro summoning, Exceed summoning. You can use this against Black Rose, against Exciton, so that way your opponent doesn't blow up your field. Of course, you can use this to stop the summoning of Cyber Dragon Infinity, you know. Cannot be negated. You can't stop Star Eater, but you can stop a lot of other things. Nero Sealing. This is in case your opponent already pendulum summoned, or they just swarmed the field and you top deck this. You know what I mean? This can't do much against anything that's already summoned, but this can deal with stuff that's already been summoned. So Neo Sealing very useful. Essentially, it's like a chainable torrential tribute. So yeah, I like that. Soul Charge helps you pull off a lot of different plays. I like to use it to get 3 level 4s, so I can go into my Cyber Dragon Infinity play by using Planetary Knight. It's like a Magician. For when you're using 1-star monsters, obviously it's a good defense. Once per turn, if it cannot be destroyed by battle, during either player's turn when a card effect targets this card, you can detach a material, negate, and destroy the card that tried to target it. And that's when you're into defense, so that's pretty good. And it's a spellcaster, so it's useful. Secret Village, among other things. Leviar, there's a lot of out of play effects, a lot of, you know, like Infernoids. I mean, you can't really grab any of the Infernoid monsters, but you know, I mean, there are a lot of decks that banish stuff from play. So being able to use this to steal somebody's out of play monster, or bring back one of your own out of play monsters in case you banish something. Like, let's say you banish the Necro Gardener, you can use this to get it back, so you can reuse it. You can use this to get back volcanic counters after you use this effect. If something you have got Deep Prison, you know, this level 4 lore, of course, you can use this to bring it back. Wind Up Zen Main, 2100 defense. If it would be destroyed by battle card effect, you can detach material instead. When it applies that effect during the end phase, you can destroy 1 card on the field. That's very useful. Plus, he's fire attribute, so that makes him useful with volcanic counter, so you can activate counters of effect. That's a good little wall. Your opponent has to put some effort into getting rid of it. Number 101, similar to Zen Main, if it would be destroyed by battle card effect, detach material, and it won't be destroyed. So, and it's a 2100 attacker, so you can attack with it. So it's like the sword to Zen Main's shield, right? Has also the effect that you can detach 2 materials from this card to target 1 face-up attack position monster that will special summon the opponent controls and add it as a material to this monster. It's good against monsters that can't be destroyed by battle card effect, or they're just too powerful and they were special summon, you just want to take them away. You can use this to steal somebody else's 101, you know what I mean? You can use this to take somebody's Exciton Knight, and so forth and so forth. Then we have Exciton Knight. Once per turn during your main phase or your opponent's battle phase, if your opponent has more cards than you in their side of field and hand combined, you can detach material from this card and destroy all other cards on the field, and your opponent does not take no further battle damage. No further damage for that turn. Obviously, this will help you clear the field and help you get some field advantage after your opponent, you know, had the advantage and you have no advantage, and then you can soul charge and go into Exciton play, or you know, you can just use anything that lets you do a rank 4 play and go into Exciton and derp. Wing Sky, Blaster, cast down. You can detach 1 XYZ material from this card. Then target 1 face-up monster on the field and change the face on defense position. It's useful against monsters that have effects that while they're face up, they can negate attacks or something. So you can put them face down and run them over. But typically you'll just detach 2 materials and return that face-up card on your opponent's side of the field back into the deck, which is a much better effect. And that's the effect that gets used the most. Because you rather the monsters go back into the main deck or extra deck than to go to the graveyard. Especially if you're going against Shaddoll Fusion monsters. You don't want them to go to the graveyard. Send them back into the extra deck, and now that'll slow your opponent down greatly. Diamond Direwolf. It's a very useful card because it let you destroy any card in the field, so that has versatility. You have to detach a material and target a beast warrior, or a winged beast type monster you control to destroy a card on the field. Since he's a beast type monster, you could target him for that effect. YUGIOH Samurai. It's pretty useful because it's a generic double attacker. You detach a material, target a YUGIOH monster. He is a YUGIOH monster, and then he can attack twice that turn. It has a secondary effect. When another monster is targeted for an attack, you can change this card to the defense position, then change the target to this card, and you proceed to damage Cal. So it's pretty good. It can block for another monster, but typically you'll just use it for its double attack, which is about 3,800 points of damage, which is nearly half your opponent's life points. Planetary Knight. He's obviously he's just so you can go into Infinity among other things, but I like Infinity. So 2 or more level 4s. You want to get at least 3 because you can activate his effect once per turn during either player's turn. Once per chain during either player's turn. You can detach 3 materials from this card. Special summon for your extra deck one monster that is 1 rank higher than this card, except a number exceed monster. So you can bring out Pleiades, Constellar Pleiades, Artifact Durandal, Tyrus, Archimedes, of course Cyber Dragon Nova, because then you're going to use Nova and go into Infinity. There's a couple other, rank 5s that you can go into that are not number monsters, but typically you want to go into Constellar Diamond. You can go into a Constellar Diamond, but my goal is to go into the mighty Cyber Dragon Infinity. Cyber Dragon Infinity, 3 level 6 light machine type monsters, but you can also use a Cyber Dragon Nova in order to summon this monster. This card gains 200 attack for each XYZ needed to attach to it. Once per turn, you can target 1 other face-up attack position monster on the field and attach it to this card as face-up XYZ material. Once per turn, during either player's turn, when a card or effect is activated, you can detach 1 XYZ material from this card, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. So it's kind of like Quasar or Stardust Assault mode, which is really cool, and the fact that it can constantly, re-up its effect, and it gets stronger for every material. Makes it really, really, really good. It's kind of like a stronger version of 1-on-1. Yeah, I love that, right? Machines for the win. Black Rose. When a single summon, destroy all other cards on the field. That's the part of the effect you use the most. It has a secondary effect, which is once per turn you can remove from play 1 plant type monster from your graveyard to change 1 defense position monster your opponent controls to face up attack position and reduces attack to 0. That's useful in a plant deck, but typically you'll just use his first effect and destroy everything on the field, including himself. Stardust. During either player's turn, when a card or an effect is activated that would destroy a card or cards on the field, you contribute this card to negate the activation. If you do, destroy it. During the end phase in which this card effect was activated and it was not negated, you can special summon this card from your graveyard. It's a good defensive card, because you can stop Mirror Force, Dark Holes, Black Rose, Exoton Knight, Judgment Dragon, Needle Sealing, any destroying effect, you can use this to stop. And there's a lot in this game. Scrap Dragon. Once per turn, you can select 1 card you control and 1 card your opponent controls, and then destroy them both. So it's pretty good for, getting rid of some stuff. Basically, a 1-for-1 You know, you pop one of your cards to pop one of your opponent's card. A good target would be a card that can't be destroyed, like a field spell, for example. That once per turn can't be destroyed, so that'd be useful. You can use it on pendulum monsters. Play a pendulum monster in your pendulum zone, pop it. You know what I mean? And then you can pendulum summon, and then use the monsters you pendulum summoned onto the field and use them as you know, materials for this. You can use tokens for this effect, and so on and so on. High Red Dragon Archery, very useful if your opponent tried to OTK you and you were able to survive with some type of defensive card like Battle Faders or Wabaku or something, or in my case, Red Screen. Then you can summon Hot Red Dragon and destroy all attack position monsters on the field. Other monsters you control cannot attack when you activate that effect, except for him, and then you can attack your opponent for 3,000. So really good monsters, good for getting rid of anything that's stronger than him, like an obelisk or something, since his destruction effect doesn't target. So it's very useful. Star Eater, Star Eater his special summon cannot be negated, so that's good. You don't have to worry about the Blackhorn Heaven or Warning or anything like that. And then of course, when he is single summon, cards and effects cannot be activated, so they can't trenchel, bomb us or anything like that, which is awesome. And then this card attacks is not affected by other card effects until the end of the damage step, so no Deep Prison, Mirror Force, anything of that nature. And he's 3200, so yeah, I like that. He's level 11, and just because I like it, of course, the Clown Blade little combo. You got Perform Mage, Trick Clown. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one Perform Mage monster in your graveyard, special summon it, but change its attack and defense to 0. You take 1,000 damage, and you can only activate the effect once per turn. Now, you special summon him, of course, anytime he's sent to a graveyard, even as XYZ material or milled or discarded. You get his effect, you lose 1,000 because you took some damage. Heroic Challenger, 1,000 Blaze will special summon to your side of the field in face of attack position. He also has another effect, which is once per turn you can discard a heroic card. Special summon one heroic monster from your deck, and if you do, change this card to the defense position. If you activate this effect, you can special summon any monster for the rest of the turn except a heroic monster. So you can summon Heroic Challenger Excalibur. That's usually a good target if you use that effect. But typically you just use his special summon effect when you take damage from an attack or card effect while this card is in your graveyard. You can special summon this card from your graveyard in face of attack position. So obviously this goes to a graveyard, you special it by its effect. Bring this back, now you have 2 level 4s, so you can obviously go into any of your nice little rank 4s. So that's the little Clown Blade engine. And that's it for now. That's the end of the video.